great, and this is episode 105 of the Rocky Files with the greatest co-host in the world, Stacy Burek. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you? How was your week?
My week is pretty incredible. I had a really great week last week. I stayed very, very busy. Tours, workouts, trying to eat a little healthier, which is very difficult to do, living in this neck of the woods that has a lot of great ethnic food.
Yes.
So, ethnic food to me is pasta and pizza. So, that's a downfall. But no, it's been a good week, and I didn't have anything really major happen to me that I can recall. One thing, I was watching Rocky 3 last week, and I was sitting right over there, and there was a scene where Rocky and Apollo were training, okay? And Apollo takes him to Tough Gym. And I've always wondered, I heard an internet rumor a long time ago that Rocky, Stallone found a sugar factory in Canada, an old sugar factory, and that's where it was filmed. And I said, well, this has been bugging me for a real long time. So I reached out to Sly, just texted him. Like 10 minutes later, he texted me right back, and he was like, no, he goes, like, here's the thing. He goes, the sugar factory was in Canada, but that's where we filmed part of ICU or Detox when he's chasing the criminal through the big factory.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and he said the Tough Gym was in the basement of a Los Angeles hotel. It was very dank, dark, and decrepit, but it fit what they needed for that part in Rocky's life. And so now I know, like, it's just the little things like that. Like I know things before and I know things after, but I need a little bridge to bridge other facts together. Right. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful that he got back to me. He's a busy guy. And I hope he knows it's never going to be in vain. I'm going to keep putting these facts and these stories out there. It's like it's in the tradition of the old Native American Indians. They tell us, the elders, they tell a story to 10 people, and those 10 people tell 20 people, and those 20 people tell 40 people, and so on. And so this way Rocky will never die. So this is just one of the things I love to do. Yes. How was your week last week, Stacy?
Good. No, but I was just going to say, these are the nuggets that people come for. I love that. And the fact that he's just like, oh, by the way, this is how it went. This is what it was. I'm like, yeah. People love that. How is my week? Things are good. Mom is improving. Let me tell you.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh. So Roz came and visited, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my mom sort of like kicked into gear, and she was like, well, you never have visitors and I didn't want you to worry about us. She did so good over that weekend.
Great.
And so I'd go down and I was like, ready to do my usual thing. She's like, it's all done. I was like, what?
Wow.
So suddenly I have like a few hours back to myself.
Nice.
And so that I'm happy to see her doing better and able to do more downstairs.
Yeah, right.
Right. So it's good. So here we are, episode 105. And of course, who am I on the phone with a day or so ago? But Chris Wynne. So let me just pull up his picture here. He is episode 5.
Nice.
And we just want to shout him out. He is such a sweetheart. He lives down in Louisiana. And, he's a teacher. He's in the middle of young boys and full-time family. And I'm like, how are you? And he's just, to listen to him is what we all went through with young families and then the middle of work. And I said, so what are you doing for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. And so I'm like, look, do you have any creative outlets? And he told me that he used to play guitar. And I said,
nice.
Okay. I said, so that's what you need to do. I want you to dedicate some time to yourself. He's like, I lost it in the flood. And I was like, I said, all right. So this is for you. You got to get that back. And I just want to remind everybody in the middle of family, in the busyness, do not lose yourselves. That one little thing that you used to do in high school, in college, that little creative thing that you used to paint or do woodworking, I don't care what it is. 1 hour a week over 20 years of a child's life is a lot of work. Don't let go of even just an hour a week. So I just wanted to announce for Chris that he's buying a guitar and he's going to get back to it. He is episode 5. Go back and watch him. Sweetheart. And the flood and hurricane story is was a real challenge for him. And
Yeah, I remember.
He used that Rocky IV music to get through it. So
He certainly did.
Yeah,
he certainly did. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good to hear that update. That's really good.
Yeah. So, Kirsty Strain, there was a little bit of a close call.
Oh, my goodness.
So
what happened?
We found out that Kirsty is helping Sly train for Cliffhanger 2, and there was a close call. Now she's okay.
That's good. That's good.
But they captured a picture of this close call
on set. Look at that.
Oh my God. They almost dropped her. It was very scary.
That's incredible. Sly looks like he did back in 1993
Isn't that
there.
Amazing?
This is amazing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's using olive oil, but look at Kirsty's face. She is, but
terrified.
she's terrified, but yet she knows Sly is going to save her.
So
and he caught her.
They pulled it back together, and here they are after that little incident. Training
there she is.
And getting
look
ready.
At her. She is my hero. Look at her. She is out there, and this is not photoshopped. This is the real deal. This is actually happening. By no means did you Photoshop anything here, right?
Well, I didn't Photoshop anything, but this young lady named Sarah Walsh that I know may have.
No. The joke is up. What was Kirsty doing that she was in those positions?
So she is in the middle of fundraising for cancer, and so she went to this bungee as a fundraising event. Am I correct? Am I remembering?
That is correct. And there's not many people that would do something like this for fundraising, for cancer, for charity. I mean, Bob Hope would, but that's about the only one that I could think of. Little lines. Shout out Rocky 3 Thunderlips.
So actually, while we're talking about it, I'm going to put up her picture here and the fundraising information. I'll cut that in.
I'm so proud of Kirsty because she's really grabbing, as you know, Sly has said, grab life by the throat and don't let go until you get what you want or where you want to be. And she is definitely one of my favorite people on the planet. As a matter of fact, she just sent me a message this morning. She just signed up to do, I'm going to let her announce it. I'm not going to announce it, but she just signed up to do something very fantastic later this year. And I could not be more pleased for her. I was so thrilled. So I did like a little video to send back just to tell her, because just texting back to her just wasn't enough, because I'm just very proud of her. All that she's gone through, all that she continues to work on herself. I mean, I think she's great the way that she is, but you know, Stacy, you, me, and just about a couple of 9 billion other people on the planet, we all try to improve ourselves. So, you know, when you see that, just again, if I was wearing a hat, hats off, Kirsty.
And this is, you know, there's a lot that she's been through, and she pushes out the positive. She turns anything, any struggle she's been into and been through, and makes positive from it and tries to inspire.
Right.
Same with Roz. And then, of course, same with our next person here, Lisa Bradshaw, who just made an announcement.
Another superstar.
Another superstar. Talk about someone who has been through it. Talk about someone who could walk through life with a very bad attitude, because it's been thrown at her over and over again. And she doesn't. And she makes a choice to put out good. So here's her contact information, and this is where you can find her. And I just loved how she said mindset mentor. I love that, because where the mind goes is what the man becomes. I'm screwing up the quote, but that is so true. And if anyone can mentor you on mindset through difficult times, she can. And I love how she says, let's get to that one thing that you're not getting to. You know, so she can help make a plan to really conquer whatever your goals are. And we just love Lisa Bradshaw.
Lisa Bradshaw is, she's one of those people that she's like, you know, you go through life and you meet people, and a lot of people are not, I don't want to say anything cruel, but I mean, they're just not worth your time. You know, they take advantage of you, or they have agendas or whatever. And we all have met people like that. Yeah. So people like Kirsty, people like Lisa Bradshaw, yourself, and maybe 4 other people I know, they're in the upper echelon of the quality of people that I have the privilege to know because of this Rocky bubble. Right. You have said this many, many times, Stacy. You and I are incredibly fortunate because I don't know that we would have come across these people, or if we would have come across them, we get to celebrate them and we get to promote them. As small as our little bubble is, we can still promote them within that bubble and just say thank you for all that they're doing, continue to do, and will do. And Lisa's just another one that I absolutely adore. She's an incredible human being.
Yep. So I just want to send people over to her. If give her a call, make an appointment. She will help you get going on that one thing. That
open up the window.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa. Your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See you. No, call her, email her.
Tell us about Stallone. What was he
up
to in 2005?
In 2005, this was a fork in the road, major comeback for Sly. So you guys will remember a little thing called Sly Moves. There you go. I bought like 13 copies and had Sly sign them all. And it was one of the times that it was a little more formal time where I got to meet him. I gave you I think I sent another picture of him in like a Navy sweater.
Yes.
Okay. This was taken. Just leave this up for a second.
Sure.
This picture was taken at the Barnes & Noble in 30 Rock in New York City. And I had waited in line with Sue for probably about 5 hours. And we were carrying the books. And of course, he shows up in an SUV and, I lost it. We all ran towards the door. And I got very pale. And I chronicled this moment in my life in Cue the Rocky music. Yeah. And so Sly and I had a very nice conversation. And this was a picture not from that moment. I found this online, but it was from this was taken that day. So this is exactly Sly's look. Now, you may recognize the haircut on him because a little later that year, Rocky Balboa would go into full swing. In December of 2006, we get the beginning of the filming of Rocky Balboa, the fight out in Vegas. And so this would go on to change not only Sly's life, but my life, your life. Gave me a career. Okay. Yeah. Had he not done Rocky Balboa, forget about it. None of this would have happened. So anyways, this is a big thing. 2005. I'm sure when we get Sly to talk about this a little bit more, I'm sure he's going to expand on that. 2005, big year. Then, of course, he finishes filming in 2006, but we'll talk about that on our next podcast.
Next one, 106.
That's right.
And tonight.
Yeah, what's tonight? Something's going on with Sly and Arnold tonight.
Yeah, Sly and Arnold are on TMZ Presents. And TMZ is part of Fox. So here it is, Arnold and Sly, rivals, friends, icons. Cannot wait to see this.
That's going to be good.
It's going to be good. And I love how they've kind of come full circle and become friends. And they were so visceral. And I commented and I said, you know what? It made you better at your craft because you had each other. It really pushed you because of that competition, even though at some point it was kind of visceral and there was the rivalry. They accelerated each other or elevated each other because of that competition, which benefited all of us.
Tremendously.
So it'll be fun to hear them talk about that tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And I can't believe that at the peak back in the mid to late 80s of their fame. Yeah. They never did a movie together. Now they did do Escape Plan. And Escape Plan actually was pretty good. Right. The first one was very, very good. I enjoyed it very much. But in their prime, they never did a movie together. And Arnold was asked this point blank, and he goes, no, I'm not going to do an Arnold accent, but you can imagine Arnold's accent.
You do a good Arnold. Do it.
I know. I should. Now I'm on the spot.
Okay.
Do you know they never give us a good script? There was no script. No script. It was all of this, and it was just not very good, and so we would have deferred our checks. So he was doing. Arnold really gave a. That's a horrible Arnold. I know. But anyways, it all came down to having crappy scripts. And I'm thinking of all the great things that came out in the 80s. Nobody came up with an idea. I think it was did Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis do an old movie, Gentlemen's Prefer Blondes or something?
I remember that.
What was the old movie where they dressed up as girls or women? That may not be the movie. Maybe that was a Marilyn Monroe movie. I forget exactly what it is. If my father's watching right now, Dad, maybe you'll remember. Oh no,
ask
Dad.
him.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when Dad sees this, oh no, yeah, that's right, this Thursday. So yeah, Dad, if you remember, just you're not going to be on the live chat. You don't know how to live chat. All right, well that's all right. Anyways,
ask him in a phone call, and we'll cut in that picture right here.
I will. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I will. I got to remember. Anyways, it was a script about Sly and Arnold dressing up like women. I don't know if they were cops or if they were thieves or whatever it was. And Arnold said this was the only thing that came our way. Not everything else that they wrote for us was garbage.
Yeah.
And I found, not that I believe Arnold. I don't not believe him. I just found it hard to believe that nothing could have come up. Right. More. So anyways, we did get that, and of course their social medias, and of course on Sly's and Arnold's documentary, but we see them kind of talk about each other.
Yes.
The Sly's the family Stallone, of course Sly goes over to Arnold's, and just the interactions of these two great icons. It's a wonderful thing for fans. It's going to be out there in film forever, so when they die in like 50 years, we can go back and see all these things.
Exactly. Yes, 50 years sounds good as well. I prefer that number.
I can't even think about that. I definitely can't think about when Sly goes, but like when Sly and Arnold go, like that's it. Like
I know.
Who do we have? It's the only people left really are Van Damme and then you got Steven Seagal, who's maybe you might have just edit that part out. But who's left? I mean, I love Matt Damon, but and Matt Damon is a great actor, right? But Henry Cavill, right, who played Superman, but he's not an action guy. Who's the guy that plays Reacher? I know Sue has a crush on him. Alan Richardson, the guy, that plays Richard, Reacher. Yeah, so there's him. And the only other person I don't even particularly care for him, but Tom Cruise. Yeah. But there's something about Tom Cruise that's like unlikable. I don't know what it is.
Right. I mean, Tom Cruise is a love or hate thing. People either love him or I've never felt a neutral or an in between. It's always like, oh my God, I can't stand that guy, or they love him. So.
Help me, help you, Rod. Help me, help you. I do love Jerry Maguire, I have to admit.
No, he's had some amazing films. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. Just, hey, we're
Jackie Chan.
People.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan,
Jackie Chan. He's still kicking. He's still around. So, all right. I can hold on to Jackie Chan. I like Jackie.
But you're right. It is weird as these people that we grew up with are getting older. And
I know. And then we have to confront our own mortality.
No, so we'll save that for episode 500.
The final episode.
537. Yeah, a long time from now.
We'll be wheeling up to the camera at the old folks' home. The nurses we'll have to remember to put our teeth in.
Camera.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. The box is tied. Stacy's in the box. I have those moments now. Anyways.
Anyway.
All right. Hey, are we done? We have a guest today, don't we?
We do have a guest. Oh my God, I remembered this time, Trish. Remember what I told you? Oh my gosh. So exciting that you remember the format this time. It only took 105 episodes. So we have Miss Trish Todisco. Here she is.
Hey.
Boom.
Yo.
Yo. What's up?
What's up? How are you doing?
I'm telling you, I'm way better now. I was really I was very, very excited to have you on the podcast because Stacy, I don't know if I told you how I officially met Trish.
No.
I don't
think you did. No.
She thought I was like a homeless person / mugger. Trish, you were nervous when I accosted you on the Rocky steps. So I I overleft. I left early to come to a tour. And so I got it in Philly like 40 minutes early. And whenever I'm early, I love going to the Rocky Steps just to hang out. Off to the side. I don't wear the hat, nothing like that. Right. I just like looking at watching people. And I noticed Trish over on the side with her tripod, taking pictures from different angles. She's posing. She's doing all these awesome poses. But then I said to myself, I think that's Trish from online. And the only way I knew for sure, two things. I saw her curly hair because her hair really is distinct. Right. And then I went to her Facebook and I said, and I'm holding the phone out because I forgot my glasses. And I'm like, yeah, that looks like Trish. I think that's her. I said, well, if it's not her, somebody with a whistle is going to come and arrest me. And I said, are you Trish? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, oh my God. You're the guy I saw on the corner, the homeless guy. I said, no, I'm Mike Kunda from the Rocky tour.
Is he making up stories?
The homeless bit, yes. But I was shocked because I was on vacation in Philly and nobody knows me in Philly. I wasn't expecting someone to come up to the steps and say, Trish. I was like, I was like, of all people, I mean, Mike, Sylvester Stallone would have been my first wish. But
I get that. I really understand. I don't blame you. He'd be my first choice too.
Right. But no, yeah, I'm excited.
Trish is one of probably Trish's top 10. So I've met tens of thousands of Rocky fans over the years. She's top 10 dedication. Top 10. Top 10 all-time fan.
Yes.
Yeah, no. She's up there. Stacey, what do you think about Trish, her story, and her dedication?
Okay, well, number one, thank you for filling out the guest form as beautifully as you did. I was like, oh my goodness, what I learned about you and we're going to get into all that. But the pictures, everyone out there already knows how committed you are. And I'm going to show off some of these all the way back from the 90s. This is what we just posted. Look at this stuff.
Yeah, Hardcore. That was 99. That was 96.
Look at that.
2001. Yeah.
I love that.
Love.
Terrible short hair. I grew it back out, obviously.
No, you know what? Short hair works for you.
It's cute. See, this is what I missed, the cutoff jeans. Remember those days?
Yeah. Those were ripped and everything. Oh, my gosh.
And I love these old pictures.
Adorable.
Yeah. I miss this time. And then
my college dorm room. Yeah.
I love this.
See, so just love. So tell us why Rocky 3 is your favorite, which automatically made us soul sisters, just saying. So tell us, and I love the way you explained it. You broke it down into three little sections why you liked Rocky 3, and I just want to start there. Go ahead.
Well, so yeah, I feel like there are three parts. It's sentimental. It's sentimental, the story, and I feel it's most relatable. So for sentimental, it was the first Rocky movie I saw, so it's what started everything for me. It was my introduction, and it's the movie I've seen the most in my life. And so it's my comfort food for one thing. Mm-hmm. But as far as like the story goes, I mean, it's fun. We've got the 80s pizzazz. We've got Mr. T with the mohawk. We've got Hulk Hogan as Thunderlips. Yeah. I mean, it's got Eye of the Tiger and the fireworks. It's got that 80s pizzazz, which as an 80s kid, I appreciate. Love. But also, we've got the surprise. We've got Apollo becoming his friend and his trainer and his mentor. Mm-hmm. We've got Adrian coming out of her shell and speaking up on the beach for the first time. We've got tons of ups and downs. He loses Mickey. He loses the title. He loses his confidence, thinking that he's been carried and the fights weren't real. He's down and out. And it's the agony of having everything. It's one thing to never have it and never know what it's like. That sucks. But to have it, to work really hard and earn it, and then to lose it, knowing what you had, I feel like that's a different kind of agony. Mm-hmm. And now he's got to make a comeback, and he's got to admit that he's afraid. That's the first step. Adrian gets him there. But now he has to pick himself back up, knowing that there's a chance it doesn't work out. He could fail even worse than before, but he's going to do it anyway. Right. And I find that also relatable even in my own life. I mean, we've all had tons of ups and downs, right? You know, I've lost people. I've lost confidence in myself. I go through periods where I have none, where I have some, and where I have a lot. It's just, it fluctuates. And, you know, I feel like it's always about the comeback with me, because I'm going to get down. That's life. Life is going to throw stuff at me to see what sticks. I have to make sure it doesn't all stick. I have to try my best to make sure it doesn't all stick. I have to throw some back.
Right.
I have to make that comeback. And I feel like he does that in 3, more so than, I mean, in 2, he certainly makes a comeback and he wins the title. But in 3, he lost it and had to come back. And that's a different comeback, I think.
That's so true. Just ditto on everything.
Yeah.
Like she said, she summed up Rocky 3 perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything that I've ever felt about Rocky 3, you just said.
Yeah.
It has the most transitions, the most up and down. Just.
Do you know what she didn't say? And I'm so grateful she didn't say it.
What?
2% body fat and the best abs. Because that was always my issue with 3 and 4, is that the physicality of Rocky and the opponent, the body almost overshadowed the message of the movie, because Sly was so unbelievably ripped and just blew everybody away. But I'm glad the way you described it, because it's all about that messaging, the heart, and to see that you get what Sly wrote from not only his own life experience, but from his heart. You know, that to me is, it's just so reaffirming. I mean, it's just another reason why you're in top 10 of all time greatest fans.
Right.
Totally.
What an honor.
That's the truth. Now, anybody that has met you, even, you know, we'll get into this in a little bit, but Trish was out here at the house and spent a great deal of time here with us. And everybody said what a first-rate Rocky fan she was. I remember a lot of people talking to me. We had about 15 people here, and we were watching Rocky 2, and people would say, "Oh my God, she's like a runaway Rocky fanatic fan." And that was from other fanatic fans. So Trish, they put you up on a pedestal, so you should be proud.
Wow.
We'll get into that a little later, though. Go ahead, Stacy.
Awesome. So I loved your story when you decided to first start training for a Rocky run. And in the middle of your training, you hit a sad moment. And I want you to talk about what your mom encouraged you anyway. So tell us about that time. That was a tough time.
It was tough. So in 2021, I decided to sign up for my first Rocky run. And I've never been an athlete. I've never been a runner. I could run like 1 or 2, maybe 2 consecutive minutes at a time, let alone 3.1 miles in front of people. But I decided, you know, I've always wanted to participate in the Rocky run. It seems like the perfect Rocky fan convention. I decided to become a runner. And so I signed up, I paid the registration. I said, okay, I have 1 year to get from running 1 minute to being able to run 3 miles. And I trained every day. And I know to some people it's only 3.1 miles, but when you can't run a minute, when you give up so easily, it's like,
might as well be 30 miles.
Okay. It feels like 100 miles, right?
Right.
And, you know, so I'd watch the training scenes at the gym on my phone. I'd listen to the music. I was running nonstop, and I was doing it. 1 minute became 2 minutes, became 3 minutes, became 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I ran my first mile. I was like totally impressed with myself for the first time in a long time.
Good for you.
and then in June of 2022, my world fell apart right in the middle of training. So in 2018, my father was diagnosed with a very rare and aggressive form of cancer. And by June 22, it had spread and there was nothing left that they could do. And I had to, I went on leave from work. I relocated to my parents' house, which is where I am now. And my father was placed in in-home hospice care. So my mom and I provided round-the-clock care for him for what would be the rest of his life. And about 3 weeks later, on July 6th, 2022, on Sly's birthday, he passed away. And it was at 4 a.m, which I always knew as a Rocky time, right? Isn't that when
Right, from Rocky when he gets up for the
at
eggs.
4 a.m?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because my mom and I were keeping vigil with him. And July 6th was, we always celebrated Sly's birthday. It was a big deal in this house. The first time we went up the steps was July 6th in 1996. It was his, I think, 50th birthday.
Wow.
And so July 6th rolls around, it's midnight, and I look at my mom and I go, it's Sly's birthday today. And she's like, yeah, this is like a big day in our house. And here we are keeping vigil with my father. Yeah. So 4 a.m. rolls, he passes. And, you know, as you can probably imagine, what follows, the grief, the depression, adjusting to life without him, helping my mom get through living alone for the first time in her life. And, you know, at this point, I'm like, I've got this run in November, a trip to Philly, hotel travel. I can't do it. How can I go and have fun and enjoy myself right now with this grief that I'm going through? Right. And my mother said, absolutely not. Not only have you trained for it, but your father would never want you to sit at home and sulk and cry and be depressed and miss out on something because of him, you know, and this is a part of life, unfortunately. And you have to, you can't just let it stop you. You have to go out and do it. You have to go the distance. You have to prove it to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to kick yourself. Yeah. And you're going to regret not going. And your father will be there with you, but in a different way. And so, and then I ended up getting COVID a little while after that.
Jeez.
Because why not?
A punch one too. Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Oh gosh.
So that set me down for a little bit. But right after all that, in September, I started training again. I had lost a couple of minutes on my mile, but I didn't stop. I was more determined than ever. And I showed up at the Rocky Run. My mom came with me. I had my father's prayer card in my running bag belt. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Along with his handkerchief. Yeah, and I finished. And I'm going to tell you though, the first second of that Rocky Run, I thought, oh God, what a mistake I've made. I am definitely not. This is hard work. Yes. I don't know. These people are just going by me. I'm like, yeah. But I finished, and then like a week later, I signed up for 2023. Did that, and now I'm all set for 2024, and I'm on Tony's team.
Oh, nice.
The Ultimate Meatballs. There we are. Yeah, I met him at the Rocky Run 2022.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be one of his meatballs.
I love this. And here's a couple more pictures. Yeah. You guys are just so cute. Can I just tell you?
Man, I gotta tell you, it was so much fun at the Rocky Run. Oh God, I was so nervous there.
Oh my God.
So many people are in those great Rocky costumes too.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's my robe. I love that. And look, you even have the robe hanging up in clear plastic, so nothing happens to it.
Oh gosh, no. It's on the door, you know, so when I go out later, I can put it on real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that. No, you wear it when you go grocery shopping. Yeah. Could you imagine Eye of the Tiger is playing on the loudspeaker and you're juggling oranges, potatoes,
how can we make broccoli. This happen?
That would be awesome. Could you imagine? I've
often
said
skit.
It really is. Could you imagine, Trish, if we were followed around, if we had our own theme song that followed us everywhere we went? Like there's that, remember that commercial? You guys remember that commercial where Survivor is in the shower with the guy, he's trying to get washed up and they're singing Eye of the Tiger, and then he's walking to work and they're right behind him playing music and singing Eye of the Tiger. He's in the elevator, they're in the office room and it's all Eye of the Tiger, and the guy is very productive. I love that. That would be amazing.
I'd love my own Rocky band following me around everywhere.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Just cue the Rocky music. It would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look at that.
There it is.
Wait a second. It's been signed, too.
Oh, look at that. Oh, see? You're so sweet, Trish. Thank you.
So this I loved. You got a big fat A on this paper. Tell us about this.
Yeah, I have that right here too.
Oh, look at you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got a 91. God, it was 1994. That was the end of my junior year in high school. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what the topic was that I was able to choose my own topic. And of course, they say, write what you know. So, I mean, I wrote this paper. It's called Punch for Punch, the parallels between Sylvester Stallone and Rocky Balboa. And I basically broke down, Sly's life to Rocky's life. And I didn't even have to go to the library. I had all the materials in my bedroom. Like my bibliography is all the books, and they're still on these shelves over here.
Right.
So I ended up getting a 91. And I remember my teacher telling me I should send it to him. And I was like, get lost. I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me? So he can read this and tell me I'm full of crap.
A 91?
Yeah.
The paper should have been started at a 99.
Yes, that's what I say.
What's Mrs. DiMaggio's phone number? Give me her number. I'm going to call her. Hey, Mrs. DiMaggio, I don't care who your father was.
Yeah, right.
Joe DiMaggio. How many pages was it?
Oh gosh, how many pages? I don't even know. It's and it's handwritten because it's 1994 and I don't think I had a computer yet.
Right.
So it's handwritten and big. I don't know. Let me see. I have 9 pages without the bibliography.
Nice.
And what was the consensus of it? Was there what were you doing? Like a young fan looking up to Rocky, or were you really making comparisons in life?
Just comparisons.
Really?
So just about how Sly started out as an underdog in the Hollywood scene, if you will, as a struggling actor and a writer. And so he channeled his story through a struggling underdog in the boxing world. And basically, and also it was, and I haven't read it in a while, but it was something like, he had a few movies that were misses after the first Rocky. So in a way that was, like Rocky being kind of down and out.
Yeah.
And then he's going to come back with Rocky 2, which is a success. And just like Sly has a success with this movie, Rocky wins the title. So it was kind of like that.
Yeah. Right. And how life, it's like a lot of how life imitates art imitates life, that type of thing.
Yep.
Okay, great. I think Sly would love to see that. I think he would love to hear that. I should send that to him too. Because not that maybe he wouldn't read it. I know he's very busy, but Sly is the type of guy that he's going to see what a long-term fan you are. And like it starts in childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And to be so how old were you when you wrote that?
94. Gosh, I must have been about 15 or 16. I was born in 77. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you're right in the middle of your teen years.
Yeah.
To have such, I don't know,
admiration.
Yeah, for this character at that age when so many other things are happening to and around you, right? And yet you dug into this character like I did, like Stacy did, like so. To me, this is something that I think Sly would say, wow. I mean, this is worth noting. It really is. So, yes, I want to do that for the promotional reel and see if we can somehow get it to Sly. It's worth it.
You have homework.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My terrible handwriting.
No, it's adorable. This is great.
I love it. Oh, my God. I'm so nervous now.
No, that's getting posted 100%. Now, you have this cool scrapbook. Tell us about the...
What a book that is.
Love this.
Yeah. I have it right here.
Wow.
Look at your little face. You're so cute.
I've had this for 40 years. It's fallen apart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's yellow. The pages aren't even, the glue came undone. The pages have fallen out. This was one of the first things my mother ever bought me. I think I had to have been about 6 or so.
Yeah.
And it's been by my side. Every place I've lived, every dorm room, every apartment I've lived in, it has been by my side. And that is that's in New York City, right after I met Sly and right after he signed it for me. Yep, there it is. And my mom used to write my name on my books when I was a kid. So that's why my name is up there.
I love that. That's awesome.
I love that. That book was my oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yo, Paulie.
So nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
What a great honor you got to meet him before, he passed.
Yeah, I met him in 96. He walked by me randomly on the street in New York City. There we are. I was waiting online to get into a restaurant, in New York. And everyone go, yo, Paulie. And there's Burt Young. And he stops across the street at a payphone. Right. And I'm like, do I go up to him? He's a celebrity. Do I want to bother him? And my aunt was with me at the time. And she's like, what would Rocky do? So she's like, oh, this is your once in a lifetime. I was like, so I ran through the crowd. I was the only one who went. Ran across the street, and I was like, excuse me. I was shaking like a leaf. I could barely get the words out. I'm a really big Rocky fan. And I told him, I was like, I just ran up the steps a couple of months ago. I mean, I was really ridiculous. I mean, but he was so sweet and so kind. He listened to everything I said.
Oh, that's great.
I asked him for a picture. He's like, sure, absolutely. Oh, what a sweetheart. What a sweetheart.
And so selfies weren't in back then. So did you have to ask someone on the street?
He was with, and I think he was with maybe a young son. He was with a young kid. And I see a lot of celebrities in New York City, and I don't go up to them. If they're with their families or on their personal time, I leave them be. Let's see, how old was I? 18 at the time. I wasn't really thinking he's with this kid. So he gave my camera to the young boy that he was with. And he took the picture. He did a really great job.
Yes, my God. No, that really is amazing. I mean, the odds of timing. I say this to everybody. I just saying this to somebody just the other day. Life is timing. That's what it's all about. Right place, right time, or the wrong time. And my friend, you were there at the right time. What do you feel like when you realize, when you hear, yo, Paulie, what are they yelling, Paulie? And then you see him. What's the first thing that hits your brain in that second?
Oh my God.
Right.
And I'm shaking like a leaf. And then he just walks away, and I'm like, oh, that was so fast. And really all I saw was his back, because he had already passed me by. This line for this restaurant was out the door, and we were curving around the curb at the corner. And he was waving, like I saw the back of him waving. So he was receptive to everybody calling out to him. And I think that may have also made me feel a little bit comfortable that he wasn't like, leave me alone or anything.
Yeah.
Because you understand, people, they're regular people, they're on their personal time and so forth. You don't want to harass anybody. But the little boy he was with had to use a payphone. And I was like, and he was just standing there. And I was like, oh my God, let me go. And the crazy part is, years later, I end up moving about a mile away from that payphone. Every once in a while I go by. The payphones are gone, but every once in a while I
you go by that spot.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. And that book, the Rocky, the scrapbook. I mean, I have a thing about this book. I've been trying to collect and eat up as many copies as I can find on eBay, because sometimes they go for $75, $100, $200, and sometimes they go for $15. People who get them, they don't realize the value. Right. And so I think I have 5 or 6 of them that I've bought. But it's like that. What was that Mel Gibson movie where he's a conspiracy theorist with Julia Roberts, and he has to buy The Catcher in the Rye wherever he goes? And it was part of his training. He has to buy like 12 books. He has to buy them all out. I'm like the Mel Gibson character. I'm always hunting for this book. And it's like, it was my Bible. It was one of the very first things, that and the Marcia Daly book, that the biography she wrote on Stallone. There's just so many nuggets in there. He wrote that within 6 months of completing Rocky, and everything is so fresh in his mind. All of the nuggets and the tidbits that are in there, like, that's where I got a lot of information, because it's so accurate. It's amazing. I'm assuming you've read it cover to cover. And gone through it, right?
I read it cover to cover as a kid a couple of times, but I haven't. Being that it's so old and it's falling apart, I haven't read it in years, because I'm afraid it's going to just completely disintegrate.
I gotta show you this. This is how whacked out I am, Stacy. You're probably gonna have to cut this. Let me go run in the other room. I gotta grab a copy to show you something.
Okay. Can't find it.
No, what is it?
Well, that was all a big to do for nothing.
What happened?
It's my original book that I had. I have all the little, little sticky tabs you could place, and I have little notes on all I had like 30 notes in it on all the pages. I don't know where it is now. It would have been so perfect.
Just when you'll come across it as soon as we're done recording, because that's how it goes.
You know what? I'm not even worth doing this anymore. I'm a horrible fan. I quit.
You're fired.
That's it. I'll take over, Stacey.
Okay.
If anyone should take over. It's Trish. I'm serious.
No, don't make me cry.
Oh, it's true. The facts, that's all in your brain. My God.
No, she
that's
is.
amazing.
She's very knowledgeable. Trish is. And it probably, like myself, started with that book.
Right.
Just the aggressiveness of wanting to learn whatever you could about the movie and the filming and the character and the philosophy. I mean, it's just it's like you never get enough. It's like a sponge that never gets filled. You just keep more and more and more information. I mean, that's what I took from you in the times I've been with you, which I love hanging out with people like you. And there aren't that many. There's a lot of big fans. Yes, there is. But there's also, Stacey, something about Trish that is very calming and relaxing, because I've said many times, I'm one of these, I'm all over the place. I'm very hard to focus sometimes. And sometimes it's nice to have that energy to bounce back. It's not crazy, zany energy coming back at me. Trish's energy is kind of more of a calm. She's excited, but it's like I don't know. It brings me down a little bit so I can be rational and not bouncing around like a Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, well, I love the application. You apply the lessons to very specific moments. We and different points in our life, we can lay over those Rocky tools with what we were going through in high school or middle school or even younger than that, and then what we are going through at 40. You've applied it along the way. That's one of my favorite things when I have people on there, that it makes a difference in all the chapters of our life.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And one of the stories that you sent us was your love for New York City and your time having to live in Connecticut, and that was not your favorite place to be. And coming from New England, I concur. But anyway, so no offense, Justin, if he's watching.
No offense, but
yeah. So just tell us about your New York City journey, your time away, and how Rocky kept you company during that time. Go ahead.
So I was born in the Bronx. In Bronx, I was born and raised there, and I loved it. I loved every second of my childhood in the Bronx. Very lucky to be able to say that I had a wonderful childhood. And then a month before I turned 14, which would be the summer before high school, my mom's career took her to Connecticut. And so we all moved. I'm an only child. It was my parents and me, but also my grandparents moved as well, because we were all very close. And so we ended up moving to a suburb in Connecticut that has, like, I think 2 grammar schools, 1 junior high, 1 high school. Here I'm coming from New York City to a place where everybody pretty much knew each other from like kindergarten or junior high.
Right.
So not only am I going from city to suburb, I'm like the only new person I think that anyone had seen in a while.
So hard. Yeah.
And I learned that New York City has a reputation. I didn't know that people outside of New York I was 14. I didn't know people knew New York or heard of it, and it had this terrible reputation because it was the 80s and early 90s. And, so people thought maybe my father was in the mafia, or, maybe I've been robbed or shot at, or I was part of crime and filth and violence. And I was like, what? No, not at all. I had a wonderful childhood. I had an accent, apparently, which I didn't understand because I'm from the United States. Like, how could I have an accent? My family was born in Italy. They have an accent.
Right.
Oh, right.
Point. Yeah.
So I learned that there's a New York City accent. I didn't fit in there. Girls would throw spitballs in my hair. It was, people made fun of the way I talked. I didn't dress right. I couldn't wait to get back. I wanted to get back to New York City, but I'm 14, 15. I can't. I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Every chance I got, I would spend a weekend with my friends in New York City, my friends who still lived there. And I would see what I was missing, and I'd get back to Connecticut and I'd be miserable. This is not what I want. I don't want to be the person who can fit in this place. I don't want to live here. And I always dreamed of getting back to New York, but it seemed like such an impossible feat. And also I had lived in Connecticut for, at that point, 13 or so years, I had kind of become suburbanized, if you will.
Yeah.
I had a car, I drove around, things like that.
Mm.
But at 27, a guy I was dating at the time in Connecticut, and it was a pretty serious relationship at the time. He had gotten a job in New Jersey, so we were going to move to Jersey. And my company was able to transfer me to an office in Manhattan. And I was like, wow, what luck. They didn't have any openings in New Jersey. What freaking luck.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to work in Manhattan. I'll live in Jersey. I'll commute. A million people do it every day. So as my boyfriend at the time and I are looking for apartments in New Jersey, I see the New York City skyline all lit up across the Hudson. And I'm like, it's been my dream since I was a little girl to live in Manhattan. And it's been my dream since I moved to Connecticut to get back to New York, not just to work, but to live.
Yeah.
I need to know if I can do it. I need to know if I can be the type of person who can survive in Manhattan. It's not for everybody.
Right.
It's scary, it's challenging, it's overwhelming, it's crazy. It's like no other place.
Right.
I need to know if I can do it. I maybe I fail, I hate it, and I come running back to New Jersey, tail between my legs. I don't know, but I need to get it out of my system, because once I move to Jersey, we're gonna get married, and that's it. I don't get to do what I want when I want anymore.
Right.
And he wasn't a fan of the city, but he understood, and he's like, all right, sign a year lease, live in Manhattan for a year, get it out of your system, and we'll pick
Right.
up. So that's what I did. And I mean, that relationship ended for a variety of reasons later on.
Was he a Schwarzenegger fan? He wasn't a Rocky fan.
He was. I don't think he was a Rocky fan. But
get rid of
That's
him.
the first problem.
Heck yeah.
He did tolerate all my Rocky toys and so forth.
So first of all, right there, using the word tolerate.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, give me DiMaggio's number and give me this guy's name and number. We're gonna go talk to him. I'm sorry. So you're in New York. You sign a year lease. He tolerates your stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, we eventually break up, but I end up the first week in Manhattan. I thought I wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah, sure.
This was in 2005. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have GPS in the palm of my hand. I wasn't going to walk around with a paper map.
Right.
And I would literally post the map to my wall in my apartment and study the streets and kind of learn that way. And as soon as I'd leave my apartment, I'd forget everything. And there would be times I'd go out to get a bagel and I don't remember where I live. I don't remember what my brownstone looks like.
That's overwhelming. That's a big city.
There was a mouse in my apartment that sent me over the edge. My landlord's like, welcome to New York.
Oh,
So I was like, that's it. I'm not going to make it here. But I said, no. This is my once in a lifetime opportunity. I have to persevere. I mean, what would Rocky do? Would he give up? Would he stop training? Would he say, forget it? I can't beat Apollo. I can't beat Clubber. And I stuck with it. And I am there 19 years now. And it's the place I've lived the longest. And I can't imagine living anywhere else.
wow.
Is it fair to say that Rocky was your Mickey at times?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Like even a father figure. Even when I was growing up as a kid, and this is no disrespect to my own father. I had a wonderful father.
Yeah.
But Rocky, in a way, like he wasn't like my celebrity husband or my celebrity boyfriend. He was always to me like a father figure and a mentor. And I always saw him that way. And not so much as a handsome guy, like he's gorgeous, but not like in that romantic.
Yeah, not that vibe, right? More like an uncle, maybe.
Yeah, it was definitely more respect than, oh, he's so cute. I want to.
Right.
An uncle by marriage.
Well, I loved how you said he kept you company, because it was a lonely time in Connecticut, and you were playing Rocky over and over and over again. Get through those
high school
girls that weren't very nice.
No, it was even that event. I mean, the picking on, the bullying eventually stopped, and I did make friends, and I'm still friends with a few people from high school. They got me through, at school, but I never felt like I fit in. Again, I'm from New York City. I'm a New Yorker. This is the suburbs, but also I had depression. I had anxiety. I had no confidence. I mean, I would get to school an hour early before everyone else so I could walk to my locker without anybody seeing me. And just so I could hide in a corner until the teacher came in and opened the homeroom classroom. And then I'd like run into in the back in the corner.
Yeah.
Like I was so, I really couldn't even be in the same room as myself. And then my family started to fall apart too when I was in high school. Not my parents, but my family at large. There was I can't really talk too much on it, but there was a family war, and that played a heavy. It really hurt me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't getting along at school. Things weren't great at home. The only thing I had 2 things. I had my dog, which if you have a dog, that's always going to be by your side unconditionally.
Right.
And Rocky. Those were the 2 things
Yeah.
that got me through. I'd hold myself up in my room, Rocky 1 through 4, not necessarily 5. I have enough depression in my life. I don't really need to see that one. But I would sit and watch the Rocky movies on a loop. And, you know, as a kid, I was a happy-go-lucky kid. I saw Rocky as this really cool guy with these muscles, and he would like accomplish these amazing feats. He picked Hulk Hogan up and dumped him in the like an audience. That's awesome. Like as a kid, like I'm a 6-7-year-old kid, right? But I couldn't fully understand the movie as a happy 6-year-old. It wasn't until I was a teenager and I was older and I was going through a lot of stuff at school and at home and inside my, inside emotionally, that I started to realize, whoa, there's a lot more here than this really cool guy with muscles beating up people in the ring. He is down, but he's not out. He's getting beat up, but he's not beaten. And he keeps coming back. How could he come back from a beating like that? Right. So I constantly said to myself, if he can get up, you can get up, keep punching. I know it's said often, but there's so much truth to it.
There's a reason why it's said a lot. There's a reason why we put such strength behind those 2 words. Keep punching.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Rocky says it, Sly says it, we all say it quite often, but it really, it never loses its effect. When I say it or when I hear people say it, when I hear you say it, I say to myself, yep, that's right. She gets it. Keep punching. This is what it is. Keep persevering. Keep moving forward. Sly understands this. He's really great with getting things that resonate with people. And it's okay. It's Rocky's philosophy. It's become our philosophy, but it's a great life philosophy. Even if Rocky never said it, just in general, it's a wonderful thing because you have 2 choices. You can collapse and roll into a ball and cry about it, or you can get up and keep moving forward. And it had to be very difficult. I know what it's like, what you went through in school. I share that with you greatly. And it's not fun. And it does psychological damage. It takes a lot, even into my 30s. I was still dealing with the ramifications of the crap I went through in high school, in grade school.
Oh yeah.
I mean, see, you didn't bring any of it on yourself. I brought a lot of it on myself because I was a wacky kid. You just moved from the Bronx to Connecticut. You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
I was goofy. You were just living. That's it.
Trying.
And that's just, you learned a little tougher lesson earlier on.
To this day, I get paranoid when someone's laughing behind me.
Really? Right.
I'll be sitting on the city bus in New York, and I hear, and there's kids behind me, and they're laughing. They're not paying attention to me, but in my head, I'm like, I'm checking my hair.
Right. Right. Is there something wrong? There's something else. The tag sticking out. Whatever.
Is there a Post-it note on my back? Like,
right.
I can't get that. I can't get away from that.
Stacy, I'm so glad you never had to deal with any of that because Stacy was like, weren't you like voted most liked in high school or something? No, that wasn't you.
No. So as you're talking, listen, what I can relate to is the family turmoil. Okay. And so the family turmoil was my existence. Somebody was always fighting with somebody. Somebody was always not talking to somebody. And so I learned very young how to stay out of the fray and stay out of the line of fire. And I brought that to school.
Oh, wow.
So my school years,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't targeted. There was a few very quick little bullying moments, but I learned because of my family how to be invisible, how to sit at the back, how to blend, how to not be a target. So what people see now is a very different person than I was as a child. I was I did not want to suffer the way I saw kids suffer. You know, I watched kids be bullied. I was like, oh my God. So I made sure I was, you know, any shade of gray that blended me to the back, you know. And so that's how I went through school. And that was safe for me. And I wasn't involved in a lot. And, you know, those are things I sort of regret now.
Yeah.
But it's just what I learned due to the family turmoil. Like, just stay out of the way, shut up, and you don't get in trouble. I did that all the way through high school.
Wow.
That saved me from at least that piece.
Right.
You know? But yeah, you and I think we need to talk more. The family piece is something you and I have in common. My dear.
I internalized a lot of stuff, even though it had nothing to do with me. But I took everything so personally, and I was very sensitive to all of it.
Yes.
And I always felt like the two sides were hurting me to hurt the other side, and whether or not that was their intention, I don't know. But that's what I felt like was happening. And
sure,
families are something else.
Yeah. Plus, I'm Italian, and I don't mean to throw the whole Italian under the bus and nothing, but my family was born in Italy. I'm first generation, so we are definitely passionate, animated, crazy Italians.
I love that though. I love that.
That just makes everything worse.
Did you ever get a chance to pick up any of the language, any of the Italian, or were you a little too young when it was going on?
Well, I understand my family's, they're from Bari, the Barese dialect. So my family always spoke it in the house, but my mother forbade me to speak it. She didn't want me to get confused in school. She wanted me to stick with English.
Gotcha.
So I wasn't allowed to talk Italian. So I really didn't pick up the speaking portion of it, but I understood my family fully. And I had no trouble because my father had only been in the United States a year or two before I was born. So his English was limited as I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And we kind of had a language barrier too growing up because he didn't know English and I was like 3 years old. I didn't really understand Italian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, he learned English through me and through cartoons, watching cartoons with me.
Wow.
So cute.
Okay.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Flintstones and Scooby-Doo, those were our shows. So, and Popeye, he's a big Popeye fan. But yeah, so I wasn't allowed to speak it. Yeah. I regret that though. I wish I could.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I know a couple bad words, but
yeah.
And I think all of us know the bad words. And it's funny how those words seem to seep through.
I heard those a lot for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? Right? Yeah.
And rightfully so, because I wasn't always so nice, and I gave people a hard time.
Stacy, what else do we have for Trish before we let her go back to living life and enjoying her Rocky room?
I'm just going to do a quick slideshow. She's been all over Philadelphia, and I just want to show some of these wonderful
I love
pictures.
her pictures. I love her.
Just the enthusiasm just oozes from these moments. Just love this. And of course, we all need that one.
Yeah.
This was beautiful. Nighttime skyline.
That's
Loved
a great
that.
shot.
Yeah.
In this locker room, side by side. In the Creed speed bags. Loved that. The apartment.
Yeah.
Look, what a great picture.
Yeah. And then a very special day for you. You got posted for Rocky Day. There you are.
Oh, look at that.
There she is. There, and here you are with a rainy.
Oh, man.
There you are to prove it.
Yeah. And then one thing I want you to go over is why is Mike's tour so much better than anyone else's?
Well, okay, aside from the fact that he's taking you to places that I would be too scared to go to by myself.
Right.
I mean, you're getting heart, you're getting facts, behind the scenes, trivia, stories I never heard. And I've spent countless hours in the library throughout my life.
I bet you
catalog,
have.
Researching
it.
Rocky and Sly. And still like very rare does Mike say something that I've heard before. It's all brand new information that I don't understand how you're getting this information. Like there's just so much to it. And there's heart, and he's a sweet guy.
He's a sweet guy, isn't he? Oh, look at the
He's
face.
a sweetheart. I mean, I wish I had more time with you on that. So I was part of a group. I was part of the group that came from the UK.
Right.
So I had to share Mike with huge fans.
You know, the thing, and I'm not saying this just because Trish is here. I love her online social media. I do. There's talk about a lot of heart. She has a lot of that. So that was one of the main reasons why I went over to say hi to her on the steps, because I didn't feel she was a lunatic. There are some lunatic Rocky fans. You got to just keep at arm's length. But I just thought you were so cool and awesome online. And I thought, I just want to go say hi to this person, because I think I knew you were taking the tour at that point later in February.
Yeah.
I think I knew because we talked a little bit about that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I was just really, having her here at the house was really great. Yeah. Sue loved her. Sue thought she was very, very sweet. I think Sue took a picture with you, so I have it somewhere.
Yeah,
there's oh, there she is, right, with the Rocky Mickey's board.
I was touching everything in that room.
I know. I think your the oils and your skin cells are fingerprints all over. There you are. She's sitting in the chair. I love it. That's not all. I don't know. Not everybody was there. We were coming down to get ready. There's the snack tray that we had, and we were all just kind of getting ready to sit down and watch Rocky 2. We're trying to corral everybody down into the old Rocky room there.
I have like 250 pictures of your collections, Mike.
Oh, really?
I photographed every inch of that room.
Look, those are great pictures too at the Victors. Those are really, really great.
God, here's another one at the Victors.
Look at, I'm holding my finger. Like I was in such awe, and I had been there before. That wasn't even my first time, but every time I'm there, it's like brand new for me, and I was in such awe. Oh God.
You know what it's like. There are two instances I can say going into the Victors. I still get this way at the Victor Cafe. I don't know, like if you've ever been into church, like when you walk into church, what pew do you want to sit in? It's always like that. And so you're not making, wow, it's Adrian's. What? You don't do that when you go. You're like, no, wow, this is amazing, right? Yeah. It's kind of that. And also, if you've ever been to like the Empire State Building. If you come out the top, the observation deck, you're not like, wow, this is incredible. You're like, wow, amazing. There's something that comes over you. You don't have to be quiet, but you are quiet. And I noticed that with people on tours, whenever my friends are around, and I'll go in if Greg or Alexa or Rick is around, we'll go in, and there's a deference to the location. You know, I don't know if it's a psychological thing that Adrian's passed on, and this is her woven through the tapestry of the Rocky mythology. I'm not quite sure what it is. You tell me, what do you think it was, Trish?
Well, I mean, I worship at the Church of Rocky Balboa, so for me, every place related to the movies is holy.
It's a holy. I was just going to say it's solid ground. Yeah,
it is. It's the Holy Grail. I mean. So I walk in there, and first, for one thing, I'm respectful. It's a classy Italian restaurant, so I'm going to be respectful at that. Inside, I want to jump up and down and scream, but I'm not going to do that because it has such a intimate feel to it, and I feel like the Holy Ones has walked here. You know?
Yeah. Right.
I need to have
Rocky walk here. Yes.
Sacred,
I get that.
Sacred ground. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at some point, Adrian was there because, Sly had told a quick little story how when the restaurant opened, it would have been Adrian going around from table to table. Rocky wasn't necessarily so much into opera. But it was Adrian going and making sure everyone was comfortable. The dinners were, everyone was well fed, and they were happy with the meal. And then when she dies, of course, Rocky then takes over because it's the only place he can go to be happy and close to her instead of the cemetery. So you get the feeling that when you walk through that door, you know, Adrian walked over the threshold. Rocky, Paulie, Rocky Jr. You know, these are things. Drago.
Right.
Drago walked over the thing.
I have sat in that chair in that area.
Right?
But,
yes, I know. Right. So I get that. And I would venture to say a lot of people would feel that way too about the restaurant. But those were great pictures. They really were.
I always get a kick because I always go up to the Rocky room, and there's a staircase. It's a long staircase to get up there. And I remember I'll be at the bottom of the staircase thinking, God, every time there's something Rocky related, I got to climb a flight of stairs.
You got to get your steps in. Your calves will be like Popeyes at the end of dinner.
Oh my gosh.
They'll be
it's not 72 steps, but it's a lot.
Yeah, and they're steep. They are steep steps going up there. Oh, that is so funny. That is funny.
This, talk about stuff, a lot of stuff to see. This is the last section of photos that you sent that were just great. And thank you. This is how we tell our story. I'm just very grateful for these pictures because it brings it to life. So you got to go to the auction.
That's fantastic.
And so these pictures, I just want to file through for folks. Talk about just being mesmerized. It must have taken, I know that it would have taken me forever to get through this because I just would have stopped at every single item.
Oh yeah, I was there for hours. It was the and I had this where it was held was right near where I worked at the time, so I had I went straight from work. So I was wearing work clothes, but I dressed in the colors of gold and black to honor Rocky. So I showed up at work like that.
Of course.
And I'm crying. There's tears in my eyes. At this point, I was like so overwhelmed, and I was crying, but I had the whole place to myself. And a security guard said, "Hey, let me take pictures of you." And he walked around with me and he took pictures of me everywhere.
Oh, how nice.
Do you have one with the jacket, with the leather jacket?
I do. I have 450 pictures from the auction preview.
Trish, would you do me a favor? Would you just send me just a couple of the ones with the leather jacket as close as you got? I'd like to see what yours look like. Just, you know.
Yeah,
I saw it once at Planet Hollywood, but you know, there were 3 leather jackets that were made.
Yes, I saw that. I saw one.
Yeah. And the one I think I saw in the DC Planet Hollywood, I'm 90% sure that was the Rocky 5 one. Because so he had it cut a little differently because he was built a little differently by the time 5 came around. So I'd love to just see yours up close. If you wouldn't mind just sending me them.
Yeah, they're on my computer at home in New York. So when I get to New York next week, I'll send it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send you all 450 if you want.
Look at how she is so easy to talk with, Stacey.
Right?
Stacey, you know, if we ever open up a third chair again, we should bring Trish in as like a casual part-time. Don't you think?
Yes.
Doesn't she have such a great energy to her?
Fit. Yep, she does.
I know. I agree.
Me and my buddy will be I take him everywhere.
Now it's a non-paid position, Trish. You understand? You just get the notoriety of being part of the Rocky Files, okay?
That's right. I already have a job that pays the bills. This feeds my soul. Okay. We're good.
All right. That's the best type.
For sure. Well, thank you, Trish. Just I knew this was going to be fantastic from what you filled out for us. When did you find us? You've been with us forever. Your energy's been obvious for years now. I mean,
I want to say it was 2022. It was definitely before my first Rocky run. It was a while ago, but I really wasn't too active on Instagram. I had never watched a podcast before. I really wasn't even sure what it was.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I think this was right around the time that your dad passed is when we connected.
Yeah. 2022 was the absolute worst year. But a lot of good happened in that year too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, before we let you out of here, so I have 2 questions. The first question is, if you could go back in time and tell a 17-year-old Trish, what would you now go back in time and tell her?
Do not give up. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but so many of your dreams will come true. You just have to keep punching.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. You're in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone. You have 30 seconds between floors. What do you say to him?
Is it nighttime? Can it be nighttime in
Sure.
this elevator?
If that works for the scenario, absolutely.
All right. So thank you for creating a character that has inspired and motivated me throughout my life, in good times and in bad, getting me through my darkest days by showing me that going in that one more round when I don't think I can will make all the difference in my life. You've created a character that is my go-to, my mentor, my role model, my hero. Rocky isn't just a movie or a character. It's a way of life that's good to live. Thank you for the time you've given to the character and to me. This is the greatest night in the history of my life.
Oh, she hit all the high points and the lines, worked them in. Isn't that beautiful?
That was beautiful, honey. That was so well prepared. Like, I'm like, here I am. I'm like, okay, my tissue box is a little bit further than my reach. I'm like, okay.
The fact that you took time to write that out and to think about that, I love that. You knew we would ask that. I love that.
Yeah, I knew.
I love that. I don't ever miss that question. That is such an important question for people. Stacy and I agree. That's one of the big questions. And Stacy and I always wanted to have people's voices heard via this podcast. Yeah. Trish, until I see you again, my friend, keep punching.
Keep punching.
Keep punching.
Bye, my friend.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Adorable.
She is exactly
I know.
What I want Sly to see.
Yeah, that's
she
it.
Is such a
quintessential Rocky fan. Yes.
Example of why I want to put people in front of him.
Yep.
She's like the cheerleader for the reason.
That's
the
it.
Poster child.
That's it. Your poster child.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, her whole life.
No, I really I like her. She's a really good soul, and I'm gonna say everybody's gonna love her on the podcast. She's just she has a very infectious type of gravitas to her, if I could use such a word. She really is a good, kind-hearted person. You should have saw her here. She was bopping around like crazy.
I have no doubt.
It was great. Sue loved her. She was great.
It's so real. It's very genuine. It's not put on at all. It is 100% genuine. When she says worships at the altar of Rocky, that is 1,000%
the truth.
True. And she's precious. Just I've loved her since she first started showing up, and she has a vibrance, a light about her. Oh,
Yep. Totally.
Very well done. So well done. So.
Stacy, I think we're just about out of here.
You have something
you're
going to be busy with next week.
Yeah. I'm going to be busy next week. I think it's just going to be for one week. I got some family stuff going on, so I want to make sure I'm available for the fam next week. So I'm going to be tied up all week between tours and spending a little extra time with mom and dad and my brother and his wife. So I don't think I'm going to be around next week. Stacy, if you want to go solo or bring somebody in and just do something, that could be a fun thing too. If you can just gab it up.
Yeah, you're sweet. It's not quite the same without you.
Listen,
it isn't.
I know it's not the same without me. I get that. However, I will pat myself on the back just a little bit. No, but if you want to do something, you want to come in and maybe do a live. Yeah. People do. But if you do a live, do it from the Rocky Files. So because your last live with Roz, you did it from the other one.
I was so excited just to have her there. I'm always bopping between both.
I
just was like, okay, let's go. Didn't even notice I was on. I'm like, what a dope.
I know. But that was great. Your live was great. I signed in for a little bit. You guys did. You guys had a really good time. I liked it. I really, really did. But so anyway, so we'll be off next week, but we'll probably be back the week after. Pretty much looks like we should be. And we just got more and more things to talk about and more episodes.
And more great folks on the way.
Yep, and you never know who's going to be here. You never know. So, fingers crossed. All right, Stacey, where can people find you at?
I'm on Instagram at HadMeAtYo, as well as the Rocky Files, and on Facebook, we are at the Rocky Files Podcast. And Michael, what about you?
Rocky Files Podcast. I'm at TikTok, the Yo Philly Film Tour. You can find me on Instagram, Yo Philly Film Tour. I'm not that much on Facebook, but I am over there at the Yo Philly Film Tour as well. And I wrote a little book called the Cue the Rocky Music. There you go. It's right there. Makes a great stocking stuffer for Christmas. It also will kill spiders. And there is a beautiful movie, a documentary about my life by the great Jim Toscano called The Pretender. The dream is real, people. It is everywhere where documentaries are being downloaded, except Netflix, because they're fools for not having it at Netflix. I will never watch anything there again. No, who am I kidding? I like Netflix. They just didn't carry the movie. Anyway, Stacey, this was a great podcast, my friend. Great episode.
All right, darling. I'll see you next week.
See you next week, pal. Keep
punching.